Will we be getting Dark Avengers, or will we be getting Thunderbolts in the MCU? Or will we be getting a new team inspired just by both of them? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. This is Top 10 Nerd and I'm your host, Amanda McKnight. Today we're going to be getting to know the Thunderbolts, the Marvel superhero team made up of former and in some cases current villains that is often compared to DC's Suicide Squad. Join me as we count down the top 10 most powerful Thunderbolt members. Number 10. Bullseye. While Lester might not be powerful in the more traditional sense of being, the most swole, his abilities do make him a rather deadly opponent. Bullseye might not have many superpowers to boast of, but he does have the almost superhuman skill of being able to hit a bullseye with almost any projectile. Bullseye is a master marksman known for his deadly accuracy, but he also does have something that makes him more durable than most. Adamantium. Adamantium is fused with part of his skeleton in a process similar to the one Wolverine underwent. In fact, it was the man who originally came up with that process, Lady Deathstrike's father, Lord Darkwind, aka Kenji Oyama, who gave Bullseye this power. Bullseye was initially recruited to join Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts. Number 9. Rhino. Rhino might be a ridiculous villain on paper and in the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, but he also happens to be one of the most powerful when it comes to Spider-Man's gallery of rogues. Rhino is Alexei Sistovich, a villain who started out as a goon for the Russian mafia, dreaming of wealth and power. Alexei ended up being convinced to participate in a series of treatments which would inevitably grant him super strength through bonding him to an armor that was fashioned to look like a rhinoceros. As such, he is not only super strong, but also is super fast and super durable, although not so bright. Rhino actually ended up becoming a member of Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin's own Thunderbolts team, which was assembled during the King in Black event. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving this list and you want more lists like it, be sure to let us know by giving this video a thumbs up. After all, there are tons more Thunderbolt members, tons more. Number 8. Plantman. Some might think of Plantman as a B or even a C-list villain, and based on how much he's shown up in the comics over the years and what he has, or rather kinda hasn't, managed to accomplish in his villainy, you'd kinda be right. But Plantman also recently got a pretty big power up in the comics thanks to the Empire event and the Kotati, who he allied himself with during their attack on Earth. The Kotati are a plant-like race who were once the neighbors of the Kree. They're much more peaceful but highly advanced neighbors, who were actually pitted against the Kree when the Skrulls came to visit. Bearing a grudge for the Kree, the Skrull, and the humans of Earth, the Kotati set out to destroy all animal-based life. Plantman decided to join their side as, at this point, Samuel Smithers identified more as a plant than a man, and in fact didn't even like his human name being used. His powers allow him to communicate with and command plant and vegetable matter. He also seems to be somewhat telepathic, and as he is now completely made of vegetable matter, he can control his density and size, making him very hard to destroy and super strong and durable when he wants to be. It was during his time with the Thunderbolts that Plantman actually took the name Blackheath for himself, which is currently what he prefers to go by. It's either Blackheath or Plantman. Number 7. Taskmaster. Taskmaster wasn't just a member of the Thunderbolts, he's also been known for being their leader. Like Rhino before him, Taskmaster was also recruited to join the Kingpin's version of the team, but has been involved with the Thunderbolts even before that. Taskmaster is Tony Masters in the comics, a man who is known for being an extremely efficient mercenary and assassin. He has what's referred to as photographic reflexes, which were gifted to him via an experimental version of the super soldier serum. However, even before he was injected with the serum, Masters had the skill to watch various abilities and moves and just be able to replicate them just from seeing them. But now that ability is pretty much instantaneous. The serum also greatly enhanced his short-term memory and heightened his reflexes and speed to superhuman levels. Number 6. Star. Star was one of the villains recruited into Kingpin's Thunderbolts team. Initially, Star was posing as a hero. She underwent a treatment that made her half Kree and part of Minerva's plot to isolate and then later recruit Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers. Before she was known as Star though, she was Ripley Ryan, a reporter who actually was saved at one point by Captain Marvel herself. Minerva, having also promised Star superpowers however, decided to siphon them from Carol Danvers due to an earlier plot which gave her the abilities to basically do so. Really, she just wanted to alienate Carol and ruin her reputation so that Captain Marvel would join the Kree Empire. She didn't really want to hurt Carol in the long run. However, when Star found out about the fact that Minerva wanted to recruit Carol, she became jealous and almost killed Minerva in a rage. The fight came down to Captain Marvel versus Star, with Carol removing the devices in both her own and Ripley's chests, which allowed Star to siphon her powers. Later on though, Star would become merged with the Reality Stone, giving her access to unlimited amounts of reality-altering power. However, Star is not very experienced in her use of these powers yet, but she does have great potential, which is why I ranked her so high on this list. Number 5. Juggernaut. Juggernaut is Cain Marko, the villainous stepbrother of Charles Xavier, aka Professor X. Unlike his brother Charles, Cain himself is a human, not a mutant, and he originally got his powers from Cyttorak, being granted the Crimson Gem of Cyttorak, and becoming his champion on Earth. Currently though, Juggernaut's ties to Cyttorak as his champion and avatar have been broken. Instead, for his powers, Juggernaut relies on the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, which do not tie the user to Cyttorak's will in the same way. This means that Cain now basically gets to operate independent of Cyttorak's will or influence, using the powers of the Crimson Band armor for his own interests. Cain became a member of Luke Cage's Thunderbolts team for a time before he was made into one of the Serpent's champions during the Fear Itself event. Number 4. Genis-Vell. Genis-Vell is the son of Mar-Vell, and honestly, he's kind of the worst in my opinion, but he is also very powerful and actually died during his time on the Thunderbolts team, which means he definitely deserves a place on this list. However, I refuse to name this point after his last super codename, Photon, because I cannot abide by all the codename stealing that he did. Like, you make Monica Rambeau give up the Captain Marvel mantle for you, and then you come back to Earth and demand Photon as well? Too rude, sir. Too rude. Regardless of his name theft, Genis-Vell was known for being extremely powerful due to his heritage as both a Kree and a Titan. His energy-based powers as a result were known for being off the charts. Number 3. Moonstone. You know I have to give love to my girl Karla Sofen. Moonstone is probably one of the most powerful members of the Thunderbolts to have ever joined the team. Initially, she got her powers from the Moonstone, hence her name. She stole it from the previous Moonstone, Lloyd Bloch, actually using her psychiatric skills to emotionally traumatize Bloch to the point that his body rejected the stone, allowing her to take it for herself. Moonstone has stood up against and taken down Carol Danvers, one of the strongest heroes in the Marvel Universe, and Karla herself has been a longtime enemy of Danvers, going back through to her Miss Marvel days. Currently, Karla is fused with the Kree Gravity Stone, which is what grants Karla her current powers. She still goes by the name Moonstone though. Karla initially joined the original Thunderbolts under the guise of the heroic codename Meteorite. Number 2. Atlas. Coming our way from the original Thunderbolts team is Atlas. Atlas, however, was formerly known as Goliath, and prior to that actually had a series of other codenames including Power Man. Atlas, as one of the original members of the Thunderbolts, was also known for being a member of the Masters of Evil, who were revealed of course to be the team of heroes that we had come to know as the Thunderbolts. Dun dun dun, what a twist. Atlas himself is known for being able to change size due to Pym particles and his ability to charge himself with ionic energy, or his ionic energy form if you will. He can use ionic energy not only to change his size, but he can also channel it into increased durability or super strength as he sees fit. I would normally put Genis-Vell and Moonstone above someone like Atlas, but it also should be noted, I think this is really important, that Genis-Vell is, currently dead, while Atlas is currently virtually indestructible and immortal. Through his connection to ionic energy, as long as he has the willpower to, he can basically resurrect himself pretty much indefinitely, because he's ionic energy. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. I think it's pretty cool. Number 1. Kobik. Kobik is a being who is the Cosmic Cube incarnate. While Kobik is often known for taking the form of a child, as during her creation she felt broken and confused, she is extremely powerful. Harnessing the power of the Cosmic Cube, which of course is her, means that Kobik can alter reality with a mere whim, and beyond that has access to seemingly limitless power. Kobik would end up being influenced by Red Skull into warping reality so that Captain America became a longtime Hydra loyalist and sleeper agent, with Kobik believing this was a good thing to do due to Red Skull's influence. While Hydra Steve was plotting away and eventually wreaking havoc on the US, Kobik would end up joining forces with Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, in an attempt to prove herself to be capable of good. Obviously, she felt a little bit bad about everything that had gone on. Kobik would gather her own team of Thunderbolts, who Winter Soldier would then lead. What are some of your favorite Thunderbolt members? Which Thunderbolt teammates, former or current, would you like to see appear in the MCU? Would you rather have a Thunderbolts team or the Dark Avengers on the big screen? Or maybe just a completely original name? And why would you want one over the other? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I am your host Amanda McKnight. Till next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.